Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of this Jaime Alguersuari career mode on F1 2016. This time we're back for episode 3, the Chinese Grand Prix. And we came last time out, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Very interesting race, very strange race. Loads of battling involved, so I do suggest that you watch it. It was pretty entertaining. But we are 11th place in the standings, and look at that. All three Spaniards in the table, right next to each other from 11th to 13th. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And Toro Rosso 11th and 12th in the standings, and in P6 for the constructors, I recall. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into practice 1. We once again kicked running in Shanghai off with the track acclimatization program, which was quite difficult in the middle sector actually, but we still passed it perfectly by the second time of our skiing. But in that session we actually came bottom, and that was actually a pretty big surprise to me, as I was actually putting in some pretty decent laps that session, unfortunately. So yeah, that pace is definitely gonna be something that we're gonna have to work on as we do the what's it called, the tyre wear program in FP2, and this is FP3. Unfortunately, the qualifying pace program didn't record, but oh no, this is still in FP2. Sorry, there's still an FP2, and somehow we came second in that session, which was yet again a positive surprise this time to me. In FP3 there were intermediate conditions, so rain, but not rain heavy enough to warrant the wet tyres, so we put on the intermediates. And we actually did the qualifying pace program, and we had pretty good pace in the wet, it seems, which is going to be very important, because the race is actually going to be dry to intermediate to wet to dry, so it's going to be a very mixed up race. So first wet race we're going to have in this career mode this season. In qualifying 1 we go third at the time of setting that lap, but we just about miss the drop zone. We only get through by 5/10 and just 1 position above the elimination zone for qualifying 1. In qualifying 2, we actually put in a much better lap time, but that was only good enough to warrant P10, and just above the drop zone yet again. And in Q3 we actually set a very good lap time, so I'll actually, oh god, my voice, I'll actually show the whole of it here. Into turn 1 we go down 3 gears into 5th, just about touching that white line out wide, so maximizing the track space. We're still within the limits of track limits. Into the little kink before turn number 3, I think this is. Down 5 gears from 7th to 5th. A nice sweeping line from wide to wide, shallow, then wide on exit. Yet again through the very long left and right handers. You want to get off the throttle as late as possible and get back on it as soon as possible. A little bit of a corner cut on exit through there, but I don't think that would have warranted an invalidated lap even on strict. Into the corner before the very long straight, a very long right hander. This is going to be the corner that will definitely get our tyres under some pressure in the race. That corner, as well as the very long left and right, I guess you can call them chicane, not chicane, there's only one, the long left right chicane, that isn't really a chicane, but coming up to the final corner of down 2 gears, and we let's say we make the most of the track width and track space, and that was actually good enough to get P7, so a personal best qualifying result. Carlos Sainz, our teammate, in P10, so Toro Rosso are looking very good coming into the race.
See if you can make it a points finish today.
Jeff is asking for points, but I think that we can aim that little bit higher. And as you can see on the strategy screen, there's actually going to be a monsoon mid-race. We actually haven't done any heavy rain or extreme wet time running, pardon me. I actually have a very bad cold at the time of recording this. I don't know what's up. But anyway, we build up the lights for the Chinese Grand Prix. 5 lights and it's lights out, and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. We get a very good start compared to all the cars behind us. Max Verstappen tries to overtake Kimi Räikkönen. They make it 3 wide into the first turn, and we will make it 4 abreast into the first corner. We make a little bit of contact with Max Verstappen, and we promote ourselves from P7 to P2 in 2 corners. Absolutely electrifying start, and by lap 3 the rain is already coming down. We've had to hold off Kimi Räikkönen for 3 laps, and it is nowhere near intermediates yet. But what do? We actually come into the pits, so we think that we can actually gain something by going on the inters that 1 lap early, because due to the long lap around Shanghai, 1 minute 40, one of the longest tracks on the calendar, there's definitely going to be a mid-lap crossover point. So we go straight onto the intermediates when you wouldn't quite think that it's intermediates yet, but trust me, this actually might work out a treat. And as we come out to the pits, we learn that Nico Rosberg retires from the lead of the race. Another Mercedes engine blowout. What is going on this season? We had 2 of Valtteri Bottas and Nico Hülkenberg in Australia. One of one of I can't quite remember who it was in Bahrain, but there was definitely a Mercedes engine blowout in Bahrain. But now on lap 4, we are chasing down Felipe Massa and Pascal Wehrlein down the main straight. And Felipe Massa actually has a much better speed than us, but we dive on up the inside, and we also take Felipe Nasr and just about bump into the back of Julian Palmer, but we straighten him back out, and we get past the Brit in the Renault. And you see everyone is actually pitting now, so it pretty much was a mid-lap crossover point, and we have actually gained so much time now that on lap 5 we are overtaking people that are actually yet to pit. So we have a pit stop in hand on Hülkenberg, and we actually take him around the outside of that very long left-hander. So that is definitely a contender for overtaking for the season. And just there, from the lead of the race, Vettel was just there. So we are promoted into the lead of the race here on lap 6 because of an absolutely crazy strategy call that has promoted us into the lead. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And we've actually been out in the lead of the race for 5 laps. The rain is actually starting to get a little bit heavier. Yet again, nowhere near full wet conditions. But we know that it works out on the intermediates. So we come in a lap early, or a lap and a half early, for the wet tyres. And we will actually come out, where will we come out? P2. Hamilton just goes past right, and now P3. We come out in P3, and we actually don't overtake these guys, but we did close down the gap by a second. No, we did open up the gap by a second to Kimi Raikkonen after he pit, so we did gain a little bit of an advantage here, and all on lap 15 we're having to apply a little bit of a correction knock, and the next lap we actually are notified that the safety car has been brought out. Absolute scene. This is terrible for us because our over 20 second, I think it's nearer 30 seconds than it is 20. Our 30-second gap is going to get absolutely cut down here, but we come in very early. Jeff is saying that it's 10 minutes until light rain, but we put on the intermediates in the hope that the safety car will be out for enough for the heavy rain to ease into light rain conditions. And under the safety car we actually have to switch off all our assists to actually keep heat in our intermediates, and that's what no traction control does, drifting almost into the safety car. And on lap 19 the safety car is actually coming in, so we are gearing up for a restart. Everyone else is on the wet tires, and the wet tires are actually the correct tire in these conditions, so we will not be fast at all, unfortunately, and it's just a matter of hoping and praying now. Lap 19 out of 28 here, and we're 8 laps to defend our lead after the restart, and we are backing the field up as much as possible, trying to delay this the field for the rain to finally come, for the light rain to finally come, because this will definitely be a challenge for us. We put up into rich mix and we start to bolt. We leave Raikkonen in the spray. We get past the safety car line, and we and we cross the start finish line now with already a half a tenth gap. I expected the challenge to come, but I guess it just never came. As soon as we bolted, that was pretty much when the lap that the safety car came in was the lap that was the crossover to light rain. As you can see here, actually on the final lap, that it is starting to dry out, but it's just too late to pit for the dry tyres now, so we're going to stay on the intermediates like the rest of the field to the end of the race. A 25 plus gap to Lewis Hamilton in second place. It's just absolutely crazy. 3 races in to our comeback and we win a race. Absolutely awesome stuff here. Toro Rosso's second ever win, of course, their one and only win before this. Although this race isn't even over, we still have 3 corners to go. But we are certain as we go down the final straight that we will be the winners of this 2016 Chinese Grand Prix. We do go a little bit wide into the final corner, but we are going absolutely mental. The celebrations are going to last very far into the night, because we come around the final corner and we come home to win the Chinese Grand Prix.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win.
What a race! What an absolute cracker of a Grand Prix from P5 on the grid, as some cars actually had some grid penalties I forgot to mention. So we weren't in 7th on the grid, we were in P5. So yeah, from P5 on the grid to win the race, and for Toro Rosso, that was just the best possible scenario, I think. Absolutely awesome stuff. And you can see here that we absolutely wiped the floor with Carlos Sainz in this weekend, beating him beating him. I don't know what that is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that was 8-2 in the race session. So we win the rivalry against our teammate. And I forgot to mention that we actually got some upgrades after Bahrain to the downforce of the Toro Rosso. But thank you very much for watching, and as usual I will get another episode of this out hopefully next week. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.